nice day for softball. Marshall taking on Houston in a battle in the upper regions of Conference USA standings as Marshall comes in at 10-4 and Houston enters the game at 9-2. Here's the batting order for the Marshall Thundering Herd, and you know they've got some great hitters in the middle of that order, but this is a young team. Kaylin Green coming on as the leadoff hitter. 5 freshmen in the starting lineup
who have brought a lot of offensive punch, and it's a reason Marshall is in the thick of things in Conference USA.
And that lineup will be facing this defense for the Houston Cougars. As you take a look at Haley Hooten, she's outstanding behind the plate, solid up the middle. Katie St. Pierre has been a welcome addition in terms of running down some of the balls in center field. Of course, Holly Anderson, tremendously athletic at third base for Houston. And the starting pitcher today for the Cougars will be Deidre Uten. Uten was the winning pitcher in yesterday's second game.
And it's a reason that they are going with Uten today is because she was successfully able to sit down the leadoff hitter, Kaylin Green, for Marshall. And when we talked with Houston head coach Kyla Hola, she said that was a factor in addition to Uten's increased speed this year from last year.
She has been working on her mechanics and is starting to really get it straightened out. Velocity very good yesterday, and here is Kaylin Green to lead it off for Marshall, and a little slap bunt. Third baseman Anderson juggles it, and that could be a base hit. As leading it off is Green, and Green with tremendous speed motoring it down first base.
The thing about Marshall is they are always ready to pounce on you. Expect the unexpected, and that's what Green does. The freshman has a great short game. She showed it there with the just recently hosed down infield, means it's slower. So tough play for Holly Anderson.
And here's Ashley Gue, and she shortens to bunt and takes a strike, according to home plate umpire Rodney Smith.
And here's a team that's third in the nation in steals, so you know what they're thinking already. The speed is going to put pressure on the Houston defense.
Ashley Gue again bunts it back to the mound, and Uten will get the out at first, just barely out at first, and again, very good speed in that upper part of the batting order for Marshall, but they have balance as well.
And again, just using a little of the short game, and this is Uten fielding her position well, throwing to the inside part of the bag, just gets her by a step. We mentioned Uten, the twin sister to her catcher sister, who is also outstanding, Deirdre and Haley.
So runner at second base now after that successful sacrifice. And here's Jasmine Valle. Valle hitting .310 on the season. 3 home runs, 19 RBIs. Also has some other extra base hits, 10 doubles and a triple. And a bouncer off of the glove of Uten and into shallow left field. And they hold the runner at third. And Shonda Stanton, the head coach in the third base coaching box, was waving her on, and Kaylin Green just didn't take advantage.
Stanton is all about taking advantage early, and look at this as again on attack. Marshall's swinging on the first pitch, and Stanton, look at her in the corner of your screen. She is waving Green to go forward. The freshman stops, and Stanton just turned around to her bench and said, "Focus." And she wants, again, a very aggressive coach. She likes the foot speed. She realizes she's in Houston. She's got to strike first. And getting that first run is so important for Marshall. In fact, they keep statistics of have we scored first? And they're within 60 feet of doing that.
Emily Cooper at first base comes in as a pinch runner. Here you see a good look at Shonda Stanton, the 14th year head coach of Marshall. Been absolutely terrific with the Thundering Herd. First and third now with 1 out. And first ball hitting, Braxton launches one to deep left field, but well foul. Braxton had a home run in yesterday's opening game, went 3 for 4 in that first game, and you could see the power in just that one swing.
Braxton is coming alive at the right time. Third in the team in RBIs, but she was kind of slow getting out of the gate this year. But the freshman is in attack mode.
Tried to bunt it and foul it off. That was a safety squeeze. The runner at third, Green, was not coming hard.
I don't know how many pitches Marshall has let go by. They are on attack on every offering of Haley or Deidre Uten in the circle.
And a foul away. She stays alive. Deidre Uten, the junior from Pflugerville, Texas. Throws hard. Yesterday was the Game 2 winner. Pitched 7 innings and allowed 7 hits. Only 2 earned runs, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts. That ball hit deep to center field. Back is St. Pierre, and it is gone. A home run for Shaylin Braxton as she knocks one over the fence to give Marshall the early 3-0 lead. Braxton with her 4th home run of the season, and Marshall has struck first here in the first inning.
Ball high in the zone, which has very little break, and with the wind blowing to the left, that ball's just got lift. And Katie St. Pierre runs out of room in the outfield. That cleared the fence by at least 30 feet. And it goes to show you how aggressive Marshall is. They are vocal, they are active, they have fun, and when they do that and they go on the attack, look out.
Here's Savannah Webster, junior college transfer from Salt Lake Community College. Young lady who has a sweet swing, according to Coach Stanton, and we'll go down to first base and talk with assistant coach down that side. And a quick meeting on the mound between Haley and Deidre. To me, an interesting dynamic there between the twins when they get on the mound. What are they talking about?
Yeah, well, they're talking about let's keep the ball down right now and let's get out of this inning so we can get in there and strike with our hot bats.
That one fouled away, and boy, a nice effort by Julie Pacina.
Haley Uten, of course, the twin sister, she wasn't traditionally a catcher. She was a shortstop, and the mom, Michelle, has caught Deirdre for so many years, and unfortunately the mom succumbed to cancer just a couple of years ago, and her sister Haley wanted to move and be the backstop, and she has become the catcher for her sister.
That's in there for a strike, and the count at 1-2 Got a good look on that last shot of the catcher Haley Uten getting a signal from Coach Kyla Hollis. Kyla calls the pitches from the side, right?
Continuing to do that from last year.
That one popped to shallow left. Pacina makes the play. 2 down here in the first inning. And Catalin Lucas will be the batter. Catalin, again, one of those freshmen. Coach Stanton said that she was, you know, they recruited and people just kept saying yes. You know, they ended up with 11 freshmen in this recruiting class. They didn't expect to have that many.
And like the University of Central Florida, which is inundated with underclassmen, they have come to the table with talent. And the thing that I love about Shonda Stanton is she recruits nationwide. California, you're in. Florida, you're in. West Virginia, you're in. She goes everywhere and anywhere to bring somebody to West Virginia and wear a Marshall uniform.
And there you see the nonverbal communication between head coach Kyla Hollis and Haley Uten, the catcher. That one in the dirt and blocked by Haley.
Deidre Uten has been known as a drop pitcher, keeping the ball low, but this year she's gone up in velocity, throwing about 65, 66 miles per hour from 43 feet, which is fast in the women's game. The issue is, can she throw back-to-back games maintaining that velocity?
Lucas fouls that one off, and it's still 1-2 to Catalin Lucas, the freshman out of Agua Dulce, California.
And Bruce, I think this is a great move by Kyla Hollis, because as you work your way to the postseason, you're going to need people to go back-to-back and be effective. So why not throw Uten out there now and see what kind of stuff she has on day 2?
That one out of the zone, and now it's 2-2. Bailey Watts is the other main pitcher for Houston. And Summer Graholski also has seen quite a bit of time in the circle. Bailey Watts has started more games than anybody else for the Cougars, and she may see some time here today.
Pitching by committee is what Kyla Hollis is going to go with, and there you see Bailey Watts, who has been really the go-to pretty much all season for Houston.
That one off the end of the bat and fielded nicely by Jennifer Hooker. Hooker to the bag, and that's it for Marshall. However, a huge 3-run home run by Shaylin Braxton And Marshall 17-3 when they score first. Well, they've scored first in this one. A 3-run home run by Braxton. They lead it 3-0. Well, Marshall gets 3 in the top half of the first inning, but this is a very potent Houston Cougars lineup with a team batting average of nearly .290. As we take a look at the Cougars batting order for this particular game, Game 3. Katie St. Pierre, a 21-game hitting streak for the Cougars, setting up that middle of the order that we had talked about earlier.
It is the 1 through 5, which really the potent punch, and Taylor Dupleshain has been giving some much-needed offense for this Houston lineup. But if they're going to get it done, 1 through 5 has got to kick it in.
And looking at the defense of the Herd, Jasmine Valle has about the best arm you'll ever see at third base. Escarino is really coming along at shortstop, and Alexander Bain is subbing today at second base. And of course, Ashley Gue is very solid in center field, as always solid up the middle for the Herd. And it's Andy Williamson starting yet again, her 31st start, and man, she is just a rubber arm, isn't she?
You know, you'd think the strikeout leader in the nation would come from Oklahoma or Alabama. No, it comes from Marshall, because Andy Williamson has been so effective for the Thundering Herd. She's got all kinds of movement to her pitches, but she's got great speed and great endurance.
And the first pitch in there for a strike to Katie St. Pierre. St. Pierre, freshman out of Flower Mound High School. That's in East Texas, and look at that average, .380, largely because of a 21-game hit streak. Runs up on that one and takes it for a strike, and now no balls and 2 strikes. During that hit streak, St. Pierre hitting .441. Raised her average nearly 100 points. And you see that OBP, always important. That one just misses, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you can see Williamson doing a little bit different than she did yesterday. She was starting outside, then working her way inside. She starts showing St. Pierre inside, then she's working her way outside.
Change up, just barely got a piece of that one, and so the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Or did she? You know, Caitlin Lucas is kind of looking at home plate umpire Rodney Smith and saying, I don't know if she got any of that.
And she almost caught it in the air before it, and I think it might have hit the ground for a foul tip catch. 1-2, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Williamson was telling us in the circle, the rise ball yesterday she felt was not coming in for a strike. It wasn't even starting in the strike zone. She said part of her goal today was get it to start at least in the strike zone and obviously rise out of it.
Holds off, and that's a good take by Katie St. Pierre on a pitch that she ran up on.
Shows some freshman discipline. You know, a lot of freshmen would just go up swinging in self-defense, and here she just pulls the bat back as she sees it's out of the zone and off speed.
That one popped up to shallow center. And coming on and making the catch is Ashley Gue. 1 down here in the first inning. Andy Williamson not afraid to go deep in the count. She throws a lot of pitches, but doesn't seem to bother her.
We talked about what her off-season and in-season workout regimen is. And in-season, she does cardio for 40 minutes on a bike, does 40 minutes on a treadmill, goes and swims, and then does push-ups while she swims. That's in-season. So you know she's got some great endurance. She's got some strong upper body strength, good leg kick, and it really helps with the wear and tear on the arm when you've got that strong lower base.
Absolutely. Makes you wonder what she does in the offseason, huh? Here's the 0-1. And that was bunted, and I believe she was in the box, or if she was out of the box, that's an out.
Well, he's saying in the box.
Yeah.
He pointed to the box, Rodney Smith, the home plate umpire, so
That
it
was
is
close.
a foul ball. And you could see just up and back again. She's still in the box.
Yeah. Kendra Cullum, the junior.
You know Houston is thinking short game too. They're also saying let's put the pressure on the Marshall defense. This defense for Marshall last in Conference USA, so why not test them?
And now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Williamson went 0-2 to St. Pierre, went to 3-2 and got her. And now with Cullum, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And she gets her. First strikeout of the game. Andy Williamson strikes out Kendra Cullum. 2 down here in the first inning, and Holly Anderson the batter.
And Williamson is a pitcher who stays strong throughout the batter. In other words, she doesn't lose momentum. There's an off speed inside. She's using inside outside effectively, showing it early. She's showing a mix of speeds early. So you just get in that Houston mindset and you say, okay, where is that pitch going to go?
Check swing foul. She came up and in on Holly Anderson. One of the best hitters in Conference USA. You see that average. That is 4th in Conference USA. A little bit of pop with the 5 home runs. As Tracy mentioned, formerly a leadoff hitter. And it looks like Catalin Lucas might have been shaken up by that foul tip.
Well, the ball looked like it fouled off Anderson's bat and then just kicked back and got Lucas. But yeah, Anderson, in fact, we were talking to Marshall's head coach, Shonda Stanton, and a lot of people will go ahead and put Anderson on just because she's that good. But then you've got Deirdre Uten behind, Haley Uten behind her. So you've got to say, okay, do I go ahead and walk her? And Anderson's almost like a 5-tool player, much like Mike Trout is for the Anaheim Angels. She's got great speed, she's got power. She's got a short game. She's got, gap ability. She plays a great field at third base, and it's a reason she made All-Region last year.
Yeah. Terrific athlete, played volleyball in high school as well. And another check swing foul. Look at Holly Anderson. She's like, I can't believe that I offered on both of those.
Well, she's up and in the box, and what's happening is Williamson is seeing it and she's not shying away, so she's going to go inside and continue to make her back off the plate.
And that one very close as she nibbles outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Holly Anderson of Dickinson High School, Dickinson, Texas, about 30 miles south of Houston. Definitely a Texas-oriented Houston Cougars club. Went up, and that pop-up drops. The count holds at 1-2. Good effort by Lucas.
And you can see Caitlin Lucas, the freshman. Okay, let's find the ball. Let's find the ball. And the goal is, if you have time, get rid of the mask. Didn't have time, but at least knew where she was in terms of the backstop. Good try.
Change up, blooped foul. Stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Holly Anderson.
She really has the bat control of a leadoff hitter. You can see that she's got leadoff hitter ability. She chokes up. She is able to put the ball in play even when it's deep in the zone. And it's a reason she's so effective as a number 3 hitter. She'll just keep making you throw.
Andy Williamson looking to close things down here in the first inning with Marshall getting 3 in the top. And she does it. Swinging strikeout for Holly Anderson and a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Williamson. And Marshall with a 3-0 lead over Houston as we go to the second inning here in Houston, Texas. Marshall, the 3-run advantage. Great day for softball here in Houston, and the Marshall Thundering Herd with a few of their fans that made the trip and travel, and they have the early 3-0 advantage thanks to Shaylin Braxton's 3-run home run. There's a look at the series between these two. With the split yesterday, Houston leading 17-6. Marshall winning that first one 13-1. As they got it going, Shonda Stanton's team really was aggressive in that first game. There's the first pitch. In there for a strike to Alyssa Hively. Hively, very good average, good person to have in the lower part of the lineup for Marshall.
Well, she's sandwiched between freshmen, and freshmen, so she's got that leadership and basically going to go ahead and set the table for the lower part of the lineup for Marshall. But what I like about Marshall is they responded both offensively and defensively. They shut out a very potent Houston offense, and now they're going up swinging again against Deirdre Uten. And again, a lot of teams follow the philosophy of their coach and the personality. And you talk to Coach Shonda Stanton, and she's very easygoing, very fun to be around, but she's a lot of energy and very, very aggressive when it comes to playing softball.
Well, and look at how far back she is right now. She purposefully, when Hively is up, she goes back behind the base because she says Hively has the quickest bat speed I've ever seen. Look at how far back she is. And she cranks it foul. she'll take a step or two back because she's been zinged by a few line drives off the right-handed hitter.
Yeah, that's where she is right now in the box, but she'll keep moving back. Part of that, and you'll watch, she's talking to Gary Mitchell, the third base umpire. She's talking to the team and the bench. She's talking to basically the hitter and Hively. So she's always very, very active verbally.
Big strikeout for Deidre Uten as she Ks Alyssa Hively, and that is out number 1 here in the second inning. It's the first strikeout for Deidre Uten. How important is this inning to Deidre?
Yeah, absolutely. How you respond and come out after giving up 3 runs in the second is critical. And she's got that deceptive speed. And right there, she just zinged the fastball by Hively and got the best of her.
Here's another one of those freshmen, Raquel Escarino. Solid 8-hitter for the Herd. A little bit of pop. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. I know that Coach Kyla Hollis had been working with Deidre Uten on her motion. She used to, what they say, cross her body a little bit. And it seems like they've corrected that some. Right?
In fact, she was working with her sister, Haley, in the bullpen before the game, working on that motion. You could see her working on her hips, her posture, and her sister was constantly reminding her to stay in that motion. And as you said, Bruce, don't cross yourself. Make sure, you know, all force going forward so you've got the most speed and most impact on the ball.
Now the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. And when somebody crosses over their body, they're basically with that front foot almost pointing it toward third or toward the base, toward the line, and then having to come across, right?
And you're working against yourself, so you want to have everything going forward and continually tinkering with your mechanics.
Now 3 balls and 2 strikes to Escarino. Alexandra Bain is on deck. 3-0 lead for Marshall. That ball hit high and deep. Pacina will take a look, and that one will leave the park. Second home run of the game for Marshall. Escarino, the freshman, hits her 4th of the year, and Marshall now leads by a score of 4-0.
So Uten tried to come inside, but the pitch was just too good, fat in the zone, and hung up around the belt. And Escarino, that powerful freshman who is so highly acclaimed out of Colorado, just pounces on it. And again, we talked about the wind going out, and when you get a ball about belt high that you're just sitting on and a talented freshman hitter, well, that means home run.
Well, and it's 4 runs, all driven in by freshmen. You know, you got the 3-run home run from Shaylin Braxton, and now Escarino with a homer. And Green, of course, was on base on the earlier home run, another freshman.
And it makes it that much more difficult for Houston when the nation's strikeout leader is in the circle for Marshall. So as Marshall continues to attack early, and that's their game plan, they'll get into you mentally, physically, and do everything they can to kind of take you out of your mindset of attacking. And Kyla Hollis said, we know that. We know what Marshall's about. They're loud, they're colorful, and they're aggressive. And we got to be prepared for it.
1 ball, 1 strike to Bain, the number 9 hitter. Tried to bunt it and popped it up, and Haley Uten got over there and made the catch. 2 down here in the second inning. Marshall with the early thunder in this ball game.
And again, the bat not angled. It is just flat, and that flat angle causes it to go up, back, and Haley Uten, the junior, easy out number 2.
So now we're back to the top of the order now with 2 outs. Kaylin Green led off the game with a bunt single and later came around to score on the Shaylin Braxton 3-run home run. The Thundering Herd tacking on 1 here in the second inning.
And I'll tell you, Deirdre Uten's got to get some more innings in here, because as much as Bailey Watts was hit around yesterday for Houston, she's got to continue to get stronger, not only for this game, but for setting up Houston in the postseason. Of course, they went to regionals last year, super regionals 2 years ago, and this is a team that's got playoff power after Conference USA.
Now 1 ball and 1 strike, but as Coach Hollis said, the pitching's got to get better, you know, for them to get there again.
Of course, with Bailey Watts giving up 13 runs yesterday, at least Houston giving up behind Bailey Watts 13 runs yesterday, and then Uten holding on to the 6-4 win, they need to kind of shut some teams off, especially when you've got Tulsa and UAB in Conference USA, which have great offenses.
And Tulsa and UAB also with terrific pitching staffs. Tulsa has a great 1-2 punch. UAB has a 1-2-3 punch. 3 good pitchers. And she strikes out Kaylin Green, and that's it for the Marshall Thundering Herd here in the 2nd inning. But again, Thunder coming out of the bats of the herd as Raquel Escarino connects on a solo home run to give Marshall a 4-0 advantage. But we're still early here in Houston. Back with more in a moment. Conference USA softball. So far, it's been all Marshall with a couple of home runs and a 4-0 lead over the Houston Cougars. The Cougars coming to the plate here in the home half of the 2nd inning, and Haley Uten to lead it off for Houston. And boy, what numbers she has put up this year, amongst the league leaders in all of Conference USA. You take a look at that, #1 in home runs and slugging percentage and on base. RBIs right up there, and then batting average, of course, and runs. She's just been terrific for Kyla Hollis. And she leads it off with a ground ball to shortstop. Scarino makes the play. 1 out here in the 2nd inning for Kayla Holland for Houston.
I'll tell you, it's a big out to get Haley Uten, who's got a lot of that firepower, but wants to strike quickly. Got a ball a little up in the zone. And again, for Williamson, we talk about her just getting more energized as the game goes on.
I think we might have had an illegal pitch here, and so Haley may get another shot at it here.
So Shonda Stanton is out talking to home plate umpire Rodney Smith, basically to see, okay, after my pitcher has thrown 2 games yesterday, and this was the umpiring crew, how is she now pitching illegally? And we don't see an illegal pitch called, at least by him, home plate umpire.
Yeah, I think it was a first base ump, yeah.
And maybe he saw a disconnect with a foot on the rubber, but at least the home plate umpire did not catch it, so you are right. It is considered a ball, and the hitter comes back in, and it's a 1-0 count.
So Uten with another opportunity. That one upstairs. And explain that that back foot still has to contact the rubber until the ball is released. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. And presumably, because we're not sure what the first base umpire called there was some disconnect, at least that he saw. Now, what that does psychologically to the pitcher is says to Williamson, I've got to focus on this a little bit more. So let's look. There could be a disconnect on the back foot.
Right. Where she kind of jumped a little bit before releasing, huh? And of course, when you're 40 some odd feet away and you're able to get to 39 feet away, that's an advantage, isn't it? And so Uten fouls that one away, and the count has gone to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Newton just swung at ball 4, and Kyla Hollis said to her team yesterday after they lost the first game 13-1, stop pressing. Let's go out there and make Williamson work. Stay off those rise balls. Stay away from the stuff that goes out and is out of the zone.
Uten has 33 walks on the year and takes strike 3 outside corner. Williamson able to hit the black on the outside and get the call, and it is strikeout number 3 and 3 in a row for Undy.
And this is where Williamson was going yesterday. Outside, outside, outside. And the team for Houston was told, stay away from it. It's not in the strike zone. Well, Rodney Smith said it was. It painted the black. So again, Williamson gets the best of Uten this time with the strikeout.
Here's Kayla Holland after 3 straight Ks for Williamson, and ripping at the first one, fouling it away. No balls, 1 strike to Kayla Holland out of Cypress Springs High School in nearby Katy.
And Holland is a big relief for Kyla Hollis, because she said, you know, typically teams were walking Haley Uten because she had so much firepower. We needed a number 5 hitter who was a threat, and that's Holland.
She's on a 12-game hit streak. And now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Got a great compact swing, compact stance, great eye at the plate. Will really make you work up there. You could see moving way back in the box.
Takes a healthy cut at that one. Something off speed. Was that the curve?
Off speed curve to the outside, because what she saw was Holland move back in the box. So Williamson says, okay, you're going to move back in the box, and I'm going to throw something that's just barely going to get to you, and it's going to tail away. So she lightened up on it and moved it away.
That ball hit to left center and deep. Going back Hugh, going back Green, and that's out of here. Home run for Kayla Holland. It's her 2nd round tripper of the season, and Houston's on the board now. And it's a 4-1 ball game as the sophomore connects again for the 2nd time this year.
Really like her swing, and this again is an off speed that just does not break out of the zone. Williamson hangs it, and Holland's got so much quick wrist and upper body strength. Lifts that over, and I'll tell you, this is a great relief to Houston because it's the first point of attack, and it's the long ball saying, hey team, we can get to Williamson again.
That home run making it a 4-1 game, and here comes Taylor Duplashane. Left-handed hitting DP. Williamson giving up her 13th home run of the season. And you pitch as many innings as Andy Williamson pitches, you're going to give up a few of those.
You are. You've got to keep them guessing. But when they see all the pitches that you have in back-to-back games yesterday, it's a question of charting. What did you get Duplashane out before? Where was it? And are you hitting your spots?
The appeal on that check swing, it's a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Third base umpire Gary Mitchell making that call. 1-1 count to Duplashane.
Thought about it, but did not go, and that's a great call.
Pretty close, but I think you're right. That one down low. 2 balls and 1 strike now.
And what's amazing is Duplashane is legally blind in her right eye. Transfer from Missouri. Her being able to play Division I softball is a great testament to her work ethic.
And as a left-handed hitter, that's, I guess, as you're looking out, kind of the front eye, isn't it?
Absolutely, and she's got great foot speed, and part of the reason she's in the lineup is she makes the defense work by pounding it, using the dirt, and then using her foot speed to get on.
Out of Pearland, Texas. And she gets her strikeout. Duplashane is the 4th strikeout victim for Andy Williamson, and again, a little bit of off speed might have even been the changeup.
When you see a lot of movement in the box, which is what Duplashane is doing, you can fool those types of hitters by just taking it off speed, so their body is literally out of the box by the time the ball has reached the plate, and all they can do is swing with upper body, and Duplashane couldn't get it.
And now it's Raina Gaber, and bounces it towards shortstop. Escarino makes the play. Good job in the hole by Escarino. But Houston able to get on the board. It's Kayla Holland knocking her 2nd home run of the season to get Houston to a 3-run deficit. It's 4-1. Marshall with the lead here in Houston, Texas in Conference USA softball. Ashley Hugh to lead it off here in the 3rd inning for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Marshall leading by a score of 4-1. And there's a good look at Amy Hugh, the mom of Ashley. And she is a nurse and follows Marshall sports, not only softball with her daughter, but, you know, she's the lady that whenever anybody gets injured, they send somebody to the hospital. They say, Amy, so-and-so's coming in right now.
You're
so
on duty.
Watch out, yeah. Terrific supporter of Marshall athletics, and here's Ashley to lead it off in the 3rd inning for Marshall.
Marshall travels so well, and we're staying in the same hotel as the Marshall team, and I'll tell you, it seems like a whole floor is just dedicated to Marshall fans, Marshall team, and because they're so energetic, their energy is contagious, and you just see them kind of take over the hotel last night when they split with Houston.
There's a foul by Ashley. Amy is an emergency room nurse, so there are times that, as there was a case last week where a player got injured, and she's able to assist, make sure that everybody gets where they need to go to get the timely help that they need. And even Coach Stanton had one of her kids or relatives bumped a head the other day, and you call Amy up, right? Gu with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Gu's got that open stance. She starts with an open stance, and then she closes it as Uten delivers. Has worked a 3-2 count, so Marshall, rather than attacking early in the count now, Gu is making Uten pitch and work.
She fouls that off.
And trying to work on the fatigue to see if Uten can go back-to-back, sustain the speed she had yesterday, continue to hit her spots. And so the philosophy now, this time, as the adjustments are being made by Marshall, is just make Uten work.
3-2 count. That open stance and a grounder to third. Nice play by Holly Anderson. And Anderson gets it done. Gu has a tremendous speed. And when you're at third base and you're Holly Anderson, you know you got to release it in a hurry.
We talked about the 5 tools, and this is just the great glove work of Anderson, going lateral, throwing on the run, front foot pointed towards first, and it's a bang-bang play that Anderson gets done.
1 down here in the 3rd inning. Jasmine Valle, who singled and scored on the Braxton home run in the 1st inning, her 2nd at-bat. That's hit hard right at the center fielder, and St. Pierre tracks it and makes the catch. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Valle's had 2 very good at-bats with a single and a line to center.
We talk about Deirdre Uten. She's one of the few pitchers that we see wear the mask, and some of the infielders we've seen wear masks in softball because they are standing only 43 feet away. It's a lively ball. The bats have a lot of trampoline effect, in other words, bounce. So if you want to protect a part of your body, it's the face, and Uten wants to do that. So we saw her last year with the mask. She's wearing the mask again this year. So she doesn't have to think about it and get preoccupied by it during the game.
Yeah, I'm sure she's so used to it. She's been doing it for that, and it's not a mask that's really terribly heavy. You know, it's a pretty light-looking mask that I'm sure is not doesn't give her a real problem.
They've made them considerably lighter than her sisters wearing the catcher mask, and we've seen shortstops wear them, we've seen third basemen wear them, and we've seen pitchers wear them. And again, effectively, she fields, she throws, wears it in the bullpen just to kind of get used to the feel. And it's working for Deirdre Uten.
Braxton hit the home run to give Marshall the 3-0 lead. And she went 3-0. And now a 3-1 count to Shaylin. The change up bounce to shortstop, Cullum. And not scooped up by Hooker at first, throwing the dirt. And Hooker couldn't quite come up with it. It'll be an error charged, I'm sure, to the shortstop, Kendra Cullum.
Well, it was a short hop, and the throw, you watch the throw is just down in the dirt. And as soon as you see that, you got to say, okay, I've got to come out. I've got to get that ball cleanly. And Hooker, who is actually in for Edwards, wasn't able to pick that ball up. But one thing Houston doesn't want to do is give Marshall another out in the inning because they've got too potent an offensive attack.
Savannah Webster, the batter, with 2 outs and a runner aboard here for Marshall. And Houston did give Marshall a lot of extra outs in the first game yesterday. They committed 4 errors. And there's another grounder to the shortstop. Cullum with another chance, this time successful, and the inning is over. So Uten pitches around the error. Nothing for Marshall in the 3rd inning. We're still at 4-1 with the home run power today on both sides. Marshall and Houston. Conference USA softball. A 4-1 lead for the Marshall Thundering Herd. They have a pair of home runs. Houston is countered with one of their own. And this is such an important game. It's game 3 of the series. And you look at the Conference USA standings, Tracy, and Tulsa on top. They have one more game at East Carolina today. But there you see Houston and Marshall looking for positioning there.
Both coaches told us this was a crucial series. And Houston, in fact, said, hey, we want to sweep. And, of course, Marshall had other ideas. But as this gets further toward May and further towards postseason, wins like this, performances by Williamson, Uten, and of course Bailey, that is key to life in the postseason.
And you look at those numbers, 9-2 Houston and 10-4 Marshall. Very important tiebreaker wise for both teams. If for some reason they were to end up tied in the standings, whoever wins the 2 out of 3 is going to have that tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, remember Marshall was so close last year. They lost to Tulsa in the Conference USA tournament finals, and they want a taste of it back. And you get a sense that the confidence of this team feels like it's theirs for the taking this year.
Jennifer Hooker is a left-handed hitting first baseman for the Cougars, leading it off here in the 3rd inning. Andi Williamson has struck out 4. She hasn't walked anybody, and she holds a 4-1 lead. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Hooker. Hooker out of Katie Taylor High School in Houston. And fouls it off and stays alive.
Well, you see Williamson just going outside, outside, outside. And, you know, she's so effective of working the outside part of the plate to both lefties and righties. Some right-handed pitchers just can't do it to hitters from both sides of the plate. But you'll watch Williamson just effectively hit her spots to lefties as well. There's the changeup.
And another strikeout for Williamson, and that is number 5 as Hooker is a strikeout victim.
You know, Kyla Hollis, the Houston coach, said yesterday Williamson had a great changeup. She has it again today. It hasn't gone anywhere. What happens is Houston is not adjusting to it. They need to look at it. And just look at the efficiency. Almost twice the number of strikes as balls. And I am amazed that Williamson has not been named Conference USA Pitcher of the Week yet this year.
Right.
And not even first team preseason Conference USA. I gotta think she is the best performing unknown pitcher out there.
Well, there's a line drive and a base hit by Deidre Uten, and Uten gets the 2nd base hit for the Houston Cougars. Deidre doesn't get as many batting opportunities as her sister, but showed some nice strength to take a pitch the other way to left field. And now we go to the top of the order, and Katie St. Pierre with 1 out and 1 on for Houston. And Katie St. Pierre sitting on a 21-game hitting streak here. Fly to center her first time up.
And this is who you want up. You want your 1, 2, 3 up. Now with Deirdre Uten setting the table. Again, putting pressure on this Marshall defense. We talked about how, you know, they are young in the middle of their defense. Shortstop, second base are both freshmen. And St. Pierre's got great bat control. So you'd like to see her make those middle infielders work.
That one tapped toward shortstop. Tough play. Got the out at second base. Nice job by Escarino getting it to Bain in time for the out. Otherwise, there's no way to get St. Pierre at first.
Difference is when those freshmen are called to perform under pressure, they actually do it. And this is a freshman to a freshman. This is Escarino who gets the hopper and throws it to Bain. And quickly Bain fields the position, comes up cleanly, and the freshmen get it done when the pressure is on.
And here's Kendra Cullum with 2 down now. And takes a strike, 0-1. And at second base, Alexandra Bain is starting there, replacing Brianna Hope, who has been the starting second baseman for Marshall through most of the year. She was injured in the last series and unable to play. But Bain, who played a little bit of shortstop earlier in the year, fitting right in at second base. And quickly 0-2 now to Cullum. And you know Andi Williamson wants to go after Cullum and not face the 3-4 in this inning. Runner was going. And the count holds at no balls and 2 strikes.
I like Cullum. She is just a very feisty hitter. She is a Kansas transfer. Didn't play shortstop at Kansas, so she said, you know what, I want to come to Houston and play. But she is a very aggressive 2-strike hitter.
And the runner going again, and that's a stolen base. And now a runner in scoring position. St. Pierre appears to be shaken up a little bit, but she steals her 10th base of the year.
Well, this is where you want it. If you're Lucas, something high in the zone, but she just does not throw off that front foot, so the ball goes wide. And of course, St. Pierre, we talked about her great foot speed. I wouldn't be surprised if Hollis takes another risk with her and just again keeps moving her along.
Blooper down the right field line. Trouble if fair. It is fair. Webster fields, and her throw is way high. And scoring is St. Pierre. It's 4-2. Good backup by Williamson to prevent the runner to go to second. But Kendra Cullum with a key base hit to right field, and it's 4-2.
Cullum, the two-strike hitter, does it so well, goes opposite field, inside out, and then here's the throw from Webster. And watch Williamson, who's the pitcher behind, backing up, great backup, but it's an inside-outside swing to a ball that's low in the zone, and here comes the throw just way off the mark. But Williamson, the good backup to prevent the runner, Cullum, from going to second.
And if you saw that angle, if that is not backed up, that one goes right into the dugout, and it's extra bases. Here's Anderson. One of the key moments you'd have to believe in this game in the bottom of the third inning with the score at 4-2. And one of the best hitters Houston possesses in Holly Anderson, who struck out swinging first time up. Ball in the dirt. Cullum thought about it, but then went back to the bag.
You know, what I like about this Houston squad is they are always responding with pressure of the middle of their lineup. And it's Anderson, and then Uten is right behind Anderson. So you can't pitch around Anderson. She's got that great RBI power, and she's got speed.
That's in for a strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we've seen Williamson attack her up and in a lot.
Trying to handcuff her so she can't get that power. I'd be curious to see if she'd be courageous enough to throw that off speed to Anderson right now.
That one tapped to first base and smothered by Hively. And that'll do it for Houston, but they chip away. They get a run on the Kendra Cullum base hit to right field. That gets Houston to a 2-run deficit as we play 3, anybody's game. Marshall leading 4-2 here in Houston. We go to the 4th inning, and Marshall leading by a score of 4-2 here in Houston. We head to the Houston Cougars dugout now. 13th year head coach Kyla Hollis joins us. And Kyla, you got down by a 4-0 score, but your team is scratching back. Holland with a big hit, and obviously Cullum last inning.
Yeah, you know, hopefully they can keep doing that. We can keep it at 4 right now on our pitching staff wise and just slowly get 1 an inning.
Kyla, you had a lengthy talk with Deirdre Uten in between innings. What were you saying to her?
Just, you know, we had designed earlier in the year about her accountability and acknowledging us and just reminding her of what she had agreed to, and that, you know, we need a little bit more from her right now and some of her adjustments and her accountability.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Kyla Hollis for the University of Houston's done a terrific job with that program. Of course, reaching the Super Regionals twice, losing in the Super Regionals to Oklahoma State in 2011, and actually had a lead in that third and decisive game in that Super. Got so close to getting to the College World Series. And here's Caitlin Lucas to lead it off for the Marshall Thundering Herd in the 4th inning. And when you talk about that accountability that the coach was talking about with Uten, what do you think that discussion, what kind of things is she saying, do you think?
Basically, take ownership of the pitches that are working for you and use more of them, and realize what's not working for you as she again goes on the attack early.
We are at softball stadium, Cougar Softball Stadium here in Houston, Texas, on the campus of the University of Houston. A beautiful day for softball. And Hively is the hitter. It's a great facility here. And of course, a lot of stuff going on here at the University of Houston, including the blowing up of Robertson Stadium, and they're going to build a new one right here in the same spot. You got to continue to work on facilities, and this is a very nice softball facility.
And you got to continue to keep up with the Joneses as the conference continues to grow and teams kind of move and realign themselves, and really the sophistication of some of the stadiums that we've seen from Oklahoma. We saw Tulsa, just a beautiful stadium. And of course here is a really great facility. And I like the way, Bruce, you're talking about accountability, that Kyla Hollis, her team came back yesterday after losing that first game 13-1. We said, hey, how'd you get the team to come back and win that second one 6-4? And she said, it's about accountability. It's about, let's throw that away. That may be one of the worst games we've ever played, and to go ahead and go on the attack. And it was part of the middle of the lineup that got them righted, and they were able to win. And you always think that Houston is never out of a game with that type of mindset.
Sure. And with their offense and their ability to hit the ball out of the park, certainly not out of any game, despite being in a 4-0 hole in this game. Well, the batter is Raquel Escarino, and this is what she did in the second inning. They give Marshall a 4-0 lead.
Gets the ball up in the zone, and the freshman is showing I've got some power too to join in the hit parade and give Marshall that what was a 4-0 lead, and outstanding freshman offensive power.
Brittany Fowler has gone in as a pinch runner for the Herd as Hively led off with a walk. And that pitch a little bit low now to Escarino, who again hit her 4th home run in the second inning. Very strong hitter and getting better and better.
Well, the problem when you hit all long balls is you can't work on that stolen base record that Marshall continues to work on as 3rd in the nation. But you can see that Fowler looks a little runnerish at first base.
Ground ball to short, and the play just barely made. Nice play by Cullum to Holland for the force. And Escarino aboard with the fielder's choice. One thing you're seeing from this Marshall team, though, with the Valles and the Braxtons and certainly Escarino, you're seeing, and obviously Hively with 7 home runs, you're seeing better balance for Shonda Stanton. Yeah, they can run, they can hit.
Yeah, absolutely. When they started the season 2-9, she said, okay, what is going to happen here? We need some consistency. And so the seniors started stepping up, and then the freshmen caught on. And that means long ball. It means they've got a short game. They've got a lot of foot speed, still working and tinkering with their defense. And behind Williamson, again, this is the total package team, which often gets overlooked in a conference that's got a lot of talent.
A 1-1 count now to Alexandra Bain out of Manville, Texas. Just coming off a broken hand. There's a grounder up the middle, and that one, oh, what a nice diving play, and out at second base. Holland with a tremendous stretch out backhand play, getting it to Cullum to end the inning. And Bain is robbed on a splendid play by Kayla Holland to keep this game a 4-2 contest. Marshall still with the 2-run lead. Marshall with the 4-2 lead over Houston as we head to the home half of the 4th inning, and it's our pleasure to welcome in Shonda Stanton, the 14th year head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd in the Marshall dugout. And coach, you got the big bats going in the early going, but obviously Houston's battling back.
Oh, absolutely. We talked to our girls about getting that quick start. We got to play hard and through these middle innings, and then we got to finish strong. You know, I like what Andi's doing in the circle. I like how offensively we came out. We put good bat on ball, but we know this game's far from over. We got to win every pitch, one pitch at a time, and then go ahead and win the inning.
Coach, you are one of the loosest teams that we've seen in Conference USA, one of the liveliest bunch. How do you kind of maintain and sustain that throughout a weekend series?
Well, it's the gals. You know, there's a certain energy, a certain culture that we create, and, you know, they do a great job of stepping up. They have fun with it, and look what they get to do. We don't have to. We get to. Are you kidding me? They're playing Division I softball for a great university in Marshall, and, you know, how can you not love it? You got great teammates. It's just an awesome experience.
Well, Shonda, thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck to the Herd the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Shonda Stanton, the Marshall head coach, and you can just feel the enthusiasm that oozes out of her, and that's reflected in this team.
She wasn't taking the headset off. She wanted more questions peppered at her. She wanted to keep talking the whole inning, and I think she would if we allowed it.
Haley Uten to lead it off here for Houston in the 4th. And Andi Williamson burns in a strike. No balls, 1 strike to Haley Uten, who struck out looking her first time up. This is a big inning for both teams, isn't it?
And you're just watching how Andi Williamson is pitching Haley Uten, the preseason Conference USA Player of the Year, because of that power, because of that RBI ability, kind of going up and in and then away. And away again. So she knows the power that Haley Uten brings to the table, and wanting not to allow consecutive innings, because they got it in the 2nd and the 3rd and now the 4th. They do not want to run here to kind of turn off that offensive faucet that makes Houston the #1 offensive team in Conference USA.
Time is called just about when Andi Williamson was about ready to start the windup. Haley Uten, one of the most powerful hitters in the history of Houston softball. With the 10 home runs this year. Takes a good cut at that one, and Coach Hollis had to get out of the way and move in a hurry. Maybe she should move up the box a little bit or farther away, huh?
Well, you're watching how Williamson is pitching Uten, and it's inside, outside, inside, outside. Handcuff her, go away. Not giving anything too fat, just kind of hugging the black part of the plate.
That one just misses. That's pitch number 56, and Andy looked in and was smiling and was hoping to get the call, but didn't get the call from home plate umpire Rodney Smith.
I'm not sure that was a smile, Bruce.
A grimace? Change up, and she gets her. Strikeout number 6 for Andy Williamson. Gets the dangerous Haley Uten.
And going off speed after she doesn't get the call on the outside part of the plate, she knows that Uten is one of those impact players that wants to make something happen, so she might be pressing a bit, throw this changeup that's out of the zone and see if Uten will just fish for it. And yeah, she does.
Kayla Holland will be the hitter, and we may have had another illegal pitch, right? So an illegal pitch, evidently. And I don't know who called that, to be honest with you.
We didn't hear it up here again, but again, Uten's got another look.
It's 3-2. And we'll take a look at that pitch again.
So they are saying that the back foot is coming off the rubber when it has to maintain contact. And with that, an illegal pitch, so a ball on the batter, so it was a 3-2 count.
And that one bounced foul. And we got a good look at it from the side, and it did look like her foot was off the rubber as the ball was being released.
And you're testing the mental strength of Andy Williamson to see if, again, if it's only happening with Haley Uten, can she get by this and continue to be sharp on her pitches while Uten just sits in there and battles.
That's hit to right center field and deep toward the gap and up against the wall. Going for 2 is Uten and in. So Haley Uten with a lead double here in the 4th inning to get things going for Houston. Her 8th double of the year. And the Cougars getting things going here in the 4th inning, down 4-2.
This is why Haley Uten is such a tough out. That ball is low and out of the zone, and she's seen enough of Williamson to say, I'm going to go with it. And she just takes it with gap power that we talked about to lead off the inning. And again, another life for Houston, and you can't continue to give them outs either, because the most potent offense in Conference USA will make you pay.
Here's the young lady that smacked a home run in the 2nd inning for Houston, Kayla Holland. She represents the tying run here in the 4th. It's in there for a strike. Did it look to you like Haley Uten hit that same changeup that she struck out on in the illegal pitch?
No, that ball was out of the zone, and it had a little bit more on it, and that's the great mix of speeds of Williamson, but Uten just was ready for it.
That one hit her. So Holland struck by a pitch. 1st and 2nd, nobody out, and Taylor Duplashane will be the hitter here for Houston in the 4th inning.
And we talk about Holland just kind of moving up towards the plate, and she wears that protective gear for a reason, because when you crowd the plate and you don't need to move away, you kind of stick your arm into it and you get the free pass. You know, the rule is you should make an attempt to get out of the way. Not sure that Holland did, but nonetheless, it's working for her, and Houston's putting on some pressure here.
I was going to say, you have the elbow pad. Might as well let it hit you, right? I mean, you're not going to get hurt by that.
And there's a reason it's on there. So you think, okay, she's done it before. She's wearing the elbow pad. So look, do her feet move? No. Does her arm move? No. Does her elbow move? No. And I don't know, if I'm Coach Stanton, maybe I'm kind of talking to home plate umpire and say, where was the attempt to move out of the way? You know, we've seen a little bit of that in Conference USA this year, Bruce, of people just kind of staying in the box, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Rules Committee addresses that a little bit more this year.
Well, Andy Williamson was trying to pitch in to Holland, so she couldn't get her arms extended, and now here's Duplashane. Again, A lot of speed, and situation here probably perfect for Houston and Taylor Duplessis to try to drop one down.
Well, what you're looking at is a foot speed in the box who's likely going to hit on the left side part of the field, and you've got runners on first and second, so that's where you'd like to get the lead runner. So all the action now is at the hot corner.
Swings and misses at that one. And as she runs up on it, she's almost out of the front part of the batter's box by the time she makes contact, isn't she?
And that's what happened to her last time, which is why she got struck out on the changeup, because she just got fooled with the speed. But just take a look at Duplessis. We see this of a lot of slap hitters, but the key is maintain your momentum in the box, maintain contact in the box, and then run quickly towards first.
Did a nice job of holding off on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is so close, Bruce, that I would watch if Duplessis makes contact, if she's in or out of that box. I mean, she is really on her motor. She's starting so far back in the box so she can begin her foot movement early.
So what you're saying, if she makes contact, you're wondering whether they'll call her out.
Yeah, outside the box,
right.
If she's outside the box. But of both swings that we've seen, she's been out of the box.
So now it's 2-2 with 2 on and nobody out in the Houston 4th inning. A 2-run game. Big pitch and a strikeout. Andy Williamson strikes out Duplessis for the 2nd time.
But this one was up and away. Again, watching Duplessis, because her momentum, look at that front shoulder. Okay, it's staying in, but sure, she has got her weight tilted towards first. When you see that as a pitcher and catcher, you go away from a lefty. You either go up or you go down. They went up and got Duplessis.
And now it's Raina Gaber with 2 on and 1 out. There's a huge strikeout for Andy Williamson. Gaber grounded out to short her first time up. Nice pitch on the inner part. No balls, 1 strike to Gaber.
Gaber's average is down about 40 points from last year, and what Kyla Hollis says is she wants to see more gap power. And boy, what a time to start to deliver it.
Grounder to the right side. They were actually caught in the air by Bain right at the shoe top. And that's the 2nd out.
I like the way the middle infielders from Marshall are holding their ground. The freshman Bain, as you can see, it is a bang-bang play, and just watches the ball into the glove, 2 hands, and then comes up with the sure thing. And I'll tell you, Williamson pitching out of some trouble here early.
And we'll have a pinch hitter now for Houston. Sydney Gerbrack will come to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. Nice job by Williamson to get to this point and have a chance to get out of the inning.
Gearbrick was key yesterday in the 6-4 Houston win. She came in as a pitch hitter, got a hit, got an RBI. I'd like to see more of the same.
That's in there for a strike. Gearbrick is the niece of Mac Rhodes, who is the athletic director here at Houston, doing a great job with the Cougars program. That one just missed.
Which explains why she's come from San Diego, California to come play in Houston when there's so many great programs in California. But Kyla Hollis, a nice job of recruiting also in California.
All 3 of Sydney's home runs this year, pinch hitting. They'd love to see it here today, but not to be done as Valle makes a nice play on that grounder to third base. And that'll do it for Houston. The Cougars threaten but do not score. Williamson closes it down, and Marshall still leads 4-2. 5-3 Marshall with the lead. We get a look at junior pitcher Bailey Watts, who a couple of years ago had an affliction called thoracic outlet syndrome, which is the outlet is the area between the collarbone and the first rib, and it causes all sorts of pain in the shoulders and neck and numbness of the fingers when all those blood vessels and nerves get all jangled up there. Her arm would turn blue, and finally she had an operation, and they actually took out the first rib, and she kept the rib. And this is a poster she put together. Coach wanted all of the players to put together, hey, what have you overcome? That is actually Bailey Watts' rib that came out, and you see thoracic outlet syndrome there as a part of the poster. One of the things that she had to overcome to pitch. A really amazing story.
Yeah, and when you talk to Kyla Hola, she said she had just nerve damage and couldn't feel. And to be able to pitch last year, she said Bailey was not 100%. This year she's a lot stronger, has better command of her pitches. And you hear this thoracic outlet syndrome and you think, gosh, that's so odd and unique. Well, it turns out one of Marshall's players has it, Natalie Pulver, who is the #2 pitcher. So she's also got that. She's just about to have a rib removed. So this is a common phenomenon among pitchers in Division I softball.
Hively, the hitter, 0-1 count. And now the count 1-1 strike. Bailey said that for the first year after the operation, she had the rib and she put it in her back pocket. Carried it around with her, maybe as a reminder of what I have overcome. The 1-1 pitch fouled away.
And it's a remarkable story to have part of your rib taken out and to be back in the circle pitching Division I softball. And in fact, last week when the team was at BYU, she had the flu and she was coughing so much. And because part of the rib was removed, she wasn't as effective. And coach knew it. And they said, well, what can you throw? And she said, well, I could probably lay off the change a little bit, or lay off the curve and throw the change a little bit more. So Bailey Watts went to her changeup because the rib wouldn't allow her to throw the curve.
A little bit of a conversation on the mound, and if Bailey had that rib in her back pocket and she poked one of her teammates, would that be giving a teammate a good ribbing?
Wow, wow.
That's bad, I'm sorry. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Where's the percussionist when you need
Forgot
a
them.
timpani roll or something, huh? Now it's 3-2 to Hively. Marshall with the 2-run lead, looking to add more here in the 6th. Still 3-2.
And remember, it was Bailey Watts who basically gave up all of those runs against Marshall yesterday when they attacked early and often, and they said she was just hanging pitches and they came out fearless.
There's a changeup, ball 4, and Hively is aboard with a lead walk here in the 6th inning. And Watts gave up all 13 runs yesterday in the 13-1 game. 6 of them were earned, so there were 7 unearned runs, and I don't think there was any question, as Coach Kyla Holis mentioned, clearly our worst game of the year. And you just shake it off, right?
Which they did and won the second one, which is a real compliment to Houston for pulling it together.
1 ball, no strikes to Raquel Escarino. Hit a solo home run in the 2nd inning to make it 4-0. Houston has rallied since, and it's a 2-run game here in the 6th. Now 2-0. Hively with a leadoff walk in the 6th for Marshall, and now the number 8 hitter, Escarino. Certainly an important part of the game, one of those pivot moments, perhaps. That's in there for a strike, and a big one for Watts.
Escarino is one of those highly acclaimed players to come out of Colorado who hit over 500 her high school senior year, and they say people really overlook her size and feel she doesn't have power.
Bloop to left field, in for a hit. And so Escarino didn't get all of that. Looked like she hit it off the end of the bat, but still able to get it into left for a base hit. Hively starting at second base, stopping at second base.
And that's exactly what happened. As you see it, it's basically a screwball that gets up and in. And Escarino just a little bit behind it, but still enough on it. She is such a tough hitter in that number 8 spot. There's no let up for Bailey Watts, but just fought that to get the single.
And now you have the number 9 hitter, Alex Bain. Bunts it. Fielded by Anderson, out at first. Sacrifice successful, though, as Marshall moves the runners up. Hively to third, Escarino to second, and that sets up Kaylin Green at the top of the order.
The freshman does her job. Bain just kind of first pitch offering, squares. Great technique on the bunt. And again, Marshall continues to threaten. which is part of this Marshall mindset, is if we constantly make you edgy that we're going to push runs across, you've got to mentally stay in the game, physically stay in the game. We're constantly chirping in the dugout with songs and tunes. They're a team that just wears on you, and Houston prepared for that. They said, we know this is a team that's high energy, that is relentless, and that we're going to have to just tune out.
Well, you saw the meeting down that third baseline. The first base coach is Amanda Williams. She is now the associate head coach at Marshall. And she's the #2 all-time #2 in hits in Marshall. Still #1 in runs, #1 in doubles. So terrific player and doing a nice job with this program.
Also has the ear bling that everybody has for this Marshall squad we see.
First pitch up high to Green.
It's not every team that can pull off green earrings, but Marshall does it. In fact, they all have it. Both head coaches, all the players, they wear them during the game. They said it's kind of a team bonding thing.
That's on the corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Ashley Gue started it, wanted to wear earrings, and Shonda Stanton said, nope, not unless everybody gets to wear them. So everybody has the same set of earrings.
And, you know, Shonda said, if I had my druthers, these are not the earrings I'd be wearing. But in order to show solidarity, I'm going to pull it off, too.
Yeah, she says, these big things hurt. I got to take them off after the game is over. That one is up high in a 2-1 count now. And just so the NCAA has no interest in this, you know, they're not expensive. They're the $10 earrings, right? Is that what we heard?
Or less.
Or less. That one's a little bit upstairs for a 3-1 count. And Caitlin Green thought it was ball 4.
That's the freshman.
She's fast, but didn't need to be that fast.
Boy, that is a tough pitch to lay off.
And there's a pitch low and outside for ball 4. And so she just had to wait one more pitch. And Watts misses for a walk. Second walk of the inning for Marshall and for Watts. And now bases loaded with 1 out, and Ashley Gue the batter. Again, a very pivotal moment in the game with a 2-run lead for Marshall, threatening for more here in the 6th. 1-0 count to Gue.
Infield playing in for Houston, trying to get the home to first double play. Gue's got that great foot speed, and coming from the left side of the plate, open stance and closes it. They put pressure on that defense.
Watts hits the outside corner for a strike. Is this one of those occasions you might bunt or even suicide or not?
They looked like they were going to try and do that with Green up, but I'm not sure if I'd pull that here.
Fouled away, and now the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gue, after her career is over, is going to go on a mission, a medical mission to Ecuador next year. Her brother is in the medical school at Marshall. Pokes it foul. The count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And really doing a nice job of making Bailey Watts throw a lot of pitches right now, fouling off those offerings up and out of the zone. See if Watts can come in.
1 ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded here in the 6th. A chopper toward shortstop. The throw home in time for the out. That's a splendid play by Kendra Cullum. As they get Hively at home, 2 down and a big out for the Houston defense.
Using the dirt, it's what Shonda Stanton says we need to do at Marshall, but Cullum is very quick, bang, bang play, throw on the run, and Uten only needs to tag home for the force to get the 2nd out of the inning.
With 2 down, Valle the hitter. Really cranked on that one, but fouled it away. No balls and 1 strike. Houston deepening up their infield and looking for this final out to get out of this in the 6th inning with a 2-run deficit. 1 ball, 1 strike to Valle. Couple of base hits, has hit the ball hard, one of the captains on this Marshall Thundering Herd team. Fouls that one away, 1-2.
And we talked about Bailey Watts throwing yesterday, 128 pitches. So a lot of pitches were thrown in that 13-1 loss. And today, again, Marshall is making Bailey Watts work, even though she's coming on in relief. You see some of those pitches just floating up and out of the zone.
Big strikeout by Watts as she gets Valle to chase in a huge situation for Bailey Watts in Houston to get out of trouble. They end up giving up a hit, a couple of walks. The bases were loaded, and she pitches out of it. So we're still at 5-3 as we head to the home half of the 6th for Houston. Nice breeze and a nice day for softball, and we've seen a good one. Marshall with the early power with a couple of home runs to take the 4-0 lead, and they're clinging to a 5-3 lead as we go to inning number 7 now. And the 4, 5, and 6 hitters up for Marshall, started by Shaylin Braxton here. Braxton got things going for the Herd with a 3-run home run in the first inning. Her 4th of the year. And Bailey Watts' job for Houston is to keep them off the scoreboard here in the 7th and give your team a chance.
Yeah, I think if you are Marshall, you need some more runs because you've got 2, 3, and 4 coming up in the bottom of the 7th for Houston. Again, the #1 offense in Conference USA. And what you want to do is make Bailey Watts just continue to work, make the defense hang out there in this Houston sun. They get tired. And just try and take some emotion out of them so they have nothing in the tank at the bottom of the 7th.
Now 2-2 as Braxton probably went after ball 3. Leadoff hitter here in the Marshall 7th inning. Thundering Herd got 3 in the first, 1 in the second. Home runs by Braxton and Escarino. They tacked on a run in the 5th, which looms large. And there's a swinging strikeout, 1 down. Second straight strikeout for Watts.
Going away from the power of Braxton, and that's exactly where Watts is effective. It's kind of that, hey, let's just dance with the outside part of the plate, and Watts gets a big first out.
Savannah Webster, the batter, who is 1 for 3. Fly out, a ground out, and a double. And the count is 0-1 as that one in there. Webster got things going in the 5th, and her double was part of that rally that allowed Marshall to get their 5th run. And now 0-2. Houston battled back with single runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th innings. And an 0-2 count now to Savannah Webster. Taps it to 3rd. Anderson, no trouble, 2 down. And if you're Andy Williamson in the dugout for Marshall, you were maybe hoping for a little more time to take a deep breath, huh?
Well, she was giving high fives to the on-deck hitters in between innings. She went up to Braxton and said, okay, go get them. And she was saying, come on, let's keep the pressure on Bailey Watts, because then the pressure shifts back to Marshall at Houston, and Houston just 2 runs down. So, you know, this is a Houston team that's got a lot of firepower to them. Roger Clemens threw out the first pitch here for the Houston softball team, but they have a lot of grit to them, so I wouldn't count them out in the bottom of the 7th.
Now a 1-1 count to Catalin Lucas, who is 0 for 3 in the game. Bailey Watts with her 2nd full inning of work. Count 1-2 now to Lucas. She came in the 5th inning with a couple of runners aboard, was able to get out of the 5th, and then bases loaded, 1 out, able to get Gu and Valle back-to-back to get out of a very difficult 6th inning as Marshall threatened to extend their lead. Check swing foul, still 1-2 to Catalin Lucas. Change up, bounce to the left side, and Anderson again. That'll do it for the Marshall Thundering Herd in the 7th. And the Herd will have a 2-run lead as we go to the home half of the 7th inning. The meat of the order coming up for Houston. Marshall leads 5-3. There are the important numbers. Marshall leading by 2 as we go to the home half of the 7th inning, and Houston has numbers 2, 3, and 4. Kendra Cullum, Holly Anderson, and Haley Uten. Some of the better hitters in Conference USA coming up for Houston against Andy Williamson.
You know, if I'm Houston, that's exactly the way I wanted to get out of the 7th inning. Quick 1, 2, 3. All of these hitters who are coming up have been on base in this game. This is exactly how I want to finish a game, is with the best at bat for Houston.
Kendra Cullum leading it off, was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning and scored to make it 5-3. And now it's 2 balls and no strikes. We mentioned, of course, Cullum leading the nation in hit batsmen. She'd been hit 17 times coming into this game, so now it's 18. And it's almost like you pitch away from her, so that doesn't happen again, maybe.
Well, she crowds the plate, and Williamson loves the inside part of the plate. You see Williamson now behind at 3-0, trying to go away from Cullum. She got Cullum chasing high early in the game, but now she's got to get something in there good.
3-0 count to Cullum, the leadoff hitter in the 7th. One straight in there for a strike. And you can see by the time Cullum got done with her approach, she was out over the plate, wasn't she? So now a big 3-1 pitch coming. And the right-handed hitting catcher. And that one misses, ball 4. Right-handed hitting the shortstop, I should have said. And that is a walk for Williamson. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's her first walk, although she's hit 3 batters.
And you've got the leading RBI hitters on the team. Of course, Uten is behind Anderson, but Anderson is second on the team, and Anderson finally got a good pitch up the middle to hit last at bat. So this is going to be a tough back-to-back lineup for Williamson. We talked about endurance and her upper body strength and her conditioning, how she swims. She works out during the season. The payoff is now.
1-0 count. That one's in there for a strike. Holly Anderson represents the tying run for Houston here in the home half of the 7th inning. Her base hit came in the 5th. That one hit to right center field and deep. That ball is high off the wall. Cullum to third. She is going to be held there, and Anderson in at second base with a stand-up double, with a sliding double, as runners at second and third. And nobody out, in the tying run at second base now for the Cougars.
Ball up, let her high. You allow Anderson to get extension. She's got so much RBI power, the strength. She's keeping her eye on the ball to keep the play in front of her, and goes in safely at second. But this is the danger zone if you are Marshall, because you've got Haley Uten up, preseason conference player of the year, and the leading RBI hitter, leading home run hitter for Houston.
Assistant coach Chelsea Barkley coming out. She's the pitching coach for Marshall, and she's out in the circle to talk with Andy Williamson.
And here's the issue, a couple of things. First, Williamson got called for 2 illegal pitches against Haley Uten. It's the only hitter that she's gotten called for illegal pitches. So there's something psychologically that she feels, hey, I've got to work extra hard for the Conference USA preseason player of the year. Secondly, Uten's got that great power. You don't want to get it up in the zone. And Williamson's last couple of pitches have been up in the zone.
Haley Uten with a double to right center in the 4th inning. She reached on an error in the 5th. She's 1 for 3 in the game, and she represents the end of the game. She represents the winning run for Houston here in the home half of the 7th inning. That's in for a strike. Hard to pitch around Haley Uten, although first base is open. If you do that, you're putting the winning run aboard.
And a hitter in Hollins who already has a home run in this game for Houston.
Big 0-1 pitch, popped up right side. Bain makes the catch. Big out for Andy Williams.
Huge out for Williamson. That is just huge, because she got Uten to go up and under on a pitch that was up and out of the zone. Smart pitch. And now can she stay with it with Holland, who had that home run in the second.
That home run got Houston going. They were trailing 4-1 at the time. And now Andy Williamson will have to face a young lady that took her out of the ballpark earlier in the season, and by doing so extended her hit streak to 13. Ground ball to shortstop. Escarino is going to get the out at first. And it's 5-4 as Cullum comes in to score. Obviously, the important run, the important runner is Holly Anderson, now stationed at third for Houston. She represents the tying run. And Holland gets an RBI with the ground out. But now 2 down, and Andy Williamson, 1 batter away from finishing this one, leading 5-4 now. And Houston will bring up a pinch hitter, Jessica Snyder.
Escarino going for the sure thing at shortstop, so getting out number 2. Thought about the play at home, but wanted to get the sure thing. And now Houston doing what it does is offensively put pressure back on Marshall. And I wouldn't be surprised. That ball gets away, and Anderson's going to score. She's got that much foot speed at third.
Snyder swings through the first one. Jessica Snyder is a .263 hitter on the season. Couple of doubles, 4 RBIs. But at the plate here in a clutch pinch hit situation here in the 7th inning. And now 0-2. And you can just sense Andy Williamson kind of feels she's gotten through the tough part, but she still has to get this last out.
And it's a gutsy call by Kyla Hollis to put Snyder in too. She has not faced Williamson, and now she's forced to protect the outside part of the plate and some fire.
A foul at the plate. Still 0-2. And you can almost sense for Shonda Stanton and for Kyla Hollis, this one hanging on the edge right here in this at bat. 0-2 count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Andy Williamson trying to pick up the win here for Marshall. The change-up, strike 3, outside corner, and Marshall celebrates. Marshall winning by a final of 5-4 as Andy Williamson strikes out the final hitter, and Marshall wins 2 of 3 here in Houston.
Gutsy call by Williamson to go with a changeup on the outside part of the plate with the runner on third base. This is a pitcher who's got a lot of confidence and a lot of talent. Through 3 games this weekend in a crucial series and took 2 from Houston. And I'll tell you, they are looking towards the top of Conference USA.
Marshall goes to 11-4 in conference play. Houston drops to 9-3. Andy Williamson gets her 24th win of the year. And boy, that was just a guts performance for her late in this game, wasn't it?
Every time Houston threatened, Williamson was able to answer with her mix of pitches, her precision, and her confidence. And this is a pitcher who deserves a good look for Pitcher of the Week in Conference USA.
Well, she gets a couple of wins in the series as Marshall wins it with some thundering power early and some great pitching late by Andy Williamson. Again, your final score from Houston, Marshall wins 5-4. Hey, be sure to join us for CUSA Baseball on Saturday, April 20th at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central as the Rice Owls will visit the Houston Cougars. Thanks for watching. Again, Marshall wins it 5-4. For Tracy Warren, I'm Bruce Howard, and for our entire Fox crew, so long from Houston.